I'm ready for questions, over. That's a very good question. On orbit, on the International Space Station, we're breathing the same atmosphere as we do on the ground. So it's one atmosphere, and it's got oxygen and mainly nitrogen. Oxygen to breathe, and nitrogen to keep the pressure. For the oxygen, we bring gas from the ground, and we also can generate some oxygen from water and also some chemical reaction. Over. Well, interesting that you asked that question because we had the opportunity to see Northern Lights and Southern Lights in the past couple of weeks, couple of months. We had an opportunity to see it and actually fly over it and fly through it. It's pretty spectacular because every orbit, every 90 minutes or so, we could see it maybe 2 or 3 orbits in a row. And it's the same aurora, the same northern lights like we see on orbit on the ground, but it's just larger in area. Over. That's a very good question. So on orbit, when we get here, we feel a little bit, I would say, lightheaded because all the fluid in our body tends to go towards our head because we don't have gravity pulling down the liquid towards our feet. After a couple days, couple weeks, we get used to it. So right now we're just floating and enjoying the microgravity, freedom from gravity. When we get back on the ground, it would take a couple days to get reacclimated to gravity. Over. That is a very difficult and easy question. The easy answer would be the Earth. We have a big window called the cupola looking down at Earth, and we see the Earth just rotating under us, and we can see like the night, the morning, the sunrise, the mountains, the oceans, and everything is beautiful. Over. As a matter of fact, I think most of the food is something similar to what we eat on the ground. The only thing is it's already made and it's in a package, so we are just open it up and heat it up, open it up and eat it. Sometimes we have to add some hot water to get it back into its normal state, but we can eat. There's a lot of variety right now, and especially with U.S., Russian, French, and Japanese astronauts on board, we have a variety of different food. Over. That's a great question. So, emotionally, we're leaving our family and friends, but we're excited to start our journey uphill towards space. Physically, you get pressed down to your seat for the last minute or so, especially. So we feel like 3 Gs. That means 3 times your body weight. You get pressed into your seat. But after that, after the engine cuts off, then you are in microgravity. So it's a cool sensation. Over. for other life. We are trying to discover if there are evidence, maybe on Mars, that we have water. And maybe on Moon we may see something like that too. So we're trying our best to see if we can find other life forms in the universe. Over. Yes, we have a very special cool tool called a map on orbit, and it's actually on a computer, so it tells you where you are in space. So if you look down, it will tell you where exactly you are on over Earth. So that helps you a lot to identify what you're seeing from space. Over. That's a very great question. Among this crew, this particular crew, we do not have a physician on board. However, most of us are trained in case we have a injury. We do practice first aid, and also we have doctors on the ground. So if needed, we can consult them, and they will tell us what to do. And if we need to go to an hospital, then we will need to return to Earth immediately. Over. Well, to the Moon, I would say a few days. It could be a quick trip compared to Mars, because to get to Mars, it probably takes a couple of months to a year to just get there, and then to return about the same time. So a Mars trip would take maybe a year out, a year stay, and then 1 year to get back. So a total of 3 years might be what you're looking for. Over. Yeah, the spacesuit that we wear to do some spacewalks, it actually has a lot of equipment on our backpack, like oxygen, communication equipment, all the cooling fans, and that kind of stuff. So it actually weighs about 400 pounds. It's a lot of weight on the ground, but again, we're in microgravity, so we don't feel that weight. Over. That's a great question. So as a kid, I actually lived in New Jersey, and my dad took me down to Kennedy Space Center and the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. That inspired me to actually go to space. We did not have any Japanese astronauts back then, but I thought maybe becoming an astronaut would take me to space, and that started the whole journey for me. Over. Wow, that's a great question. We do have a lot. We've had, let's see, mouse, we have squid, we have spiders, we had ants, we had, what else we had? We had fish as well. We don't have big animals like dogs. We have the dogs. We don't have those yet.